What's up, world, man? Look, this your guy, Guitar K. Look, I'm here to talk about keeping it in your pants, man. Look, it's a real hard thing to do, especially with all the outside influences. And I'm not just talking about all the beautiful women that's walking around. I'm talking about the peer pressure, all the advertisements, in this world of Viagra and Cialis and all of this over-the-counter junk that they got going on, and the rhino pills and the honey packs and all, But we're going to really talk about the peer pressure. I'm going to start it off by talking about this. I was watching this movie called Pay It Forward, and I happened to be watching it in the company of a big crowd of guys. Now, it's a scene where a lady invites Kevin Spacey over to the house, and she's literally throwing herself at him, trying to give him sex, basically. And he's turning it down. He's blocking it. And every guy that was around me was saying, oh, he's a chump, he's a wimp, he's this and that. And I was thinking to myself, why? Is it just because a girl is trying to give it to you? Does that mean you have to take it? And if you don't take it, does that make you any less of a man? And I say that to say because it's been like that all my life. The neighborhood that I grew up in, like if a girl is trying to have sex with you and you're turning it down, automatically that means that you're gay, you're retarded, something's wrong with you. I mean, what's going on in the world today? Can a guy turn down a girl because he don't want her? I mean, he don't like her. Maybe she's not attractive to him. It could be any reason. But I'm saying, is it just possible that he wants to keep it in his pants? I mean, I would agree that that is a thing. I know that for some reason people think that men only think with their big head and not their little head, but I'm here to say that it is possible. Let me give you a true real life story about myself. So when I first met this one girl, now I really liked her. She invited me over her house one night and she said that she wanted to watch a movie. Now, granted, it was like 2:00 in the morning. Now, I was suspicious that maybe she wanted to do something, but when I got there, she did have on some skimpy type clothing. We did go to the bedroom to watch the movie, but she never made a move. So all night, I watched the movie. I never made a move on her. I watched the movie. We laid in the bed together, eventually fell asleep. The next morning, I left. I went to work. Now, a couple of weeks later, she invited me over to her mom's house for dinner. Now, she had a lot of family. She had a lot of brothers and sisters. Now, while I'm sitting there eating, her sisters is laughing and giggling and pointing at me. And finally, I'm like, what the hell's so funny? What's wrong with y'all? So they was like, oh, so you're the guy that went over to our sister's house at 2 a.m. to just watch a movie. Like, is there something wrong with you or something? So that's why my case in point comes, I was taught that, it was the first night, she didn't make a move. Now, I'm not going to lie. If she had made a move, of course, I liked her. She was a nice looking girl. I wanted her. But since she didn't make a move, I didn't make a move. But I don't think that warranted for her sisters to be laughing at me and saying that something is wrong with me. But look, man, is it something wrong with having some self-control? Is there something wrong with having some discipline? Is there something wrong with keeping it in your pants? Now, you remember when we were young and they would say that, you're young, dumb, and full of cum is what they would say. And I would argue to say that you can be old, dumb, and full of cum. You could be still making those same bonehead mistakes that you made over women in an older age, Now, I'm not going to say that I'm completely innocent of this. I didn't follow Belle Biv DeVoe's advice. Somewhere along the line, I did start to trust the big butts and smiles, and I paid a lot of consequences for it, So I'm here to say that I disagree with the construction worker mentality that every girl that walk by, you have to whistle at her and hey mama and something with all this rubbernecking and breaknecking and you almost crashing your car and all of this and all of that. And I was subject to say that every guy that don't display that behavior, that don't mean there's something wrong with him, man. That do not mean that something is wrong with him, man. You don't have to run around with your tongue wagging out. You don't have to run around like a dog in heat all the time. And that don't mean that there's nothing wrong with you. So I'm just saying that if you feel like that you're being pressured by a girl to have sex or by being pressured by your friends that you have to hit a girl just because she's trying to give it to you, man, look, you don't have to for whatever your reason is. And you don't have to have no explanation. You can just say no. No is a complete sentence. And I got my clipboard with me because, when you're talking about something important, You know, you gotta have your clipboard. I got my ink pen. It's a nice day out. I got my water, because I know, I don't want to make this a long video, but sometimes when you're talking about topics like this, man, things could get heated, man. Like I said before, it's okay to think with your big head sometimes, and not always with your little head, man. Like I said, self-control, discipline. When you're able to exude that, it makes you have the power. You don't always have to be running around being in a whip-appeal mode. You don't have to run around chasing the booty all the time, whereas though you're missing everything else that's going over here because you got the horse blinders on, and the only thing that you see is the butt waving around all the time, like most guys do, man. I done seen so many guys miss their blessings or miss the right girl because they over here chasing after the low-hanging fruit. That's what my grandmother would say. Don't go after the easy targets. Don't go after the low-hanging fruit. So many times, man, I see guys running around say, oh, man, I need to get me some new pussy. I need to get me a new girl. Look, just because she's new, that doesn't mean that it's fresh, bruh. You going after that low-hanging fruit. The higher that the fruit is up on the tree, the more fresh it is. Now, just because she's new don't mean that it's fresh. She might be rotten, man. Look, stop going after the easy targets, man. Pac said it in the song I Get Around, man. But, tease me. Why are you trying to give it up so easy? Look, man, I don't know, man. This is a topic that I need to talk about. Can you keep it in your pants, man? Stop running around like you a sex crazed teenager and you 50 years old. And, another thing that kind of grinds my gears, I'm 48 years old. And I only want to mess with a girl that's in my age range. I don't want to mess with no little young girl. That kind of bothers me when an older guy want to mess with these little young girls. Again, you're old, dumb, and full of cum. You don't need to be out here messing with these young girls. Like I said, I think, again, that's what it comes in with the Viagras and the Cialises and all of that. If you're not in her class, if you can't hang with her, then you shouldn't bang with her. That's just my opinion, man. If you can't hang with her, then you shouldn't bang with her, man. Look, stop trusting the big butts and smiles. Get some self-control. In 5 Heartbeats, Duck told Jay-Z that he needed to get some dick control. His problem was he didn't have no dick control. Do you have some? Can you keep it in your pants, bruh? There's nothing wrong with it, man. It's okay to say no. In this over-sex society that we live in, have some morals. Have some values. Set some standards. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to go without having sex sometimes, man. Focus on some other areas in your life. Focus on your finances. Focus on your education. Because look, when you're putting all your energy and all your efforts into getting some, you're slacking somewhere, bro. You're slacking somewhere, bro. It's just, look, it's only 24 hours in a day. And if you're spending 23 and a half of them focusing on trying to get some, that other half an hour just ain't going to help you elevate, man. It ain't going to help you elevate, man. Look, I ain't trying to knock nobody. And this ain't no diss. This ain't no coming at nobody. It's really just some motivation. If you're not putting the time and effort into yourself, how you going to elevate? How you going to grow? And here's the real hit. That when you do put the time and effort into yourself and you do grow, the booty going to start chasing you. The big butts and smiles going to start trusting you. Look, man, I'm just saying, look, learn to keep it in your pants and you will be able to go further. You'll be able to get more things that you want. I see so many guys, they don't know what their problem is. They don't know why they can't break through to the next level. They don't know why they don't know, got no balance in their life. Because you're tipping so far towards big booty Judy. Yeah. You're tipping so far towards fast tail Gail. And you're not putting no efforts into, elevating yourself. Trying to focus on your emotions, trying to focus on your anger problems, trying to learn something, put something in your big head and start trying to put your little head into everything, man. Yeah. Learn to keep it in your pants. So, I'm going to leave it right there. This is your guy, Guitar K. Hopefully you got something out of this, man. I know that when I started thinking this way, I started getting more things out of life. I started to be able to see other things besides the big butts and smiles. Who knew? It's more things in the world than girls. I bet half of y'all guys didn't even know that, man. But look, again, this your guy, Guitar K. Check out some of my other videos, man. I got some motivation. I got some inspiration, a little bit of funny things, man. Yeah. Guitar K. Be more shit.